Hello, I'm Lucatorix and welcome to part 1 of my Antioch Hotseat campaign on Medieval 2 Crusades, co-hosted by Melkor and your Total War Master. So this is going to be a Hotseat campaign, which is going to be a post-commentary, and it involves basically a bunch of YouTubers that are doing a hot seat for Medieval 2 Crusades, and I'm playing as Antioch. So what I think I'll do to start off the episode is to introduce you to everyone and where they are, and also introduce you to the campaign map, because if you're like me and less familiar with the Medieval 2 Crusades campaign map, I'll just show you what it looks like and who everyone is going to be playing as. So obviously you have me as Antioch, your Total War Master is Egypt, ADG Reviews is Jerusalem, Historical Gameplay are the Seljuk Turks, Shattered Reaper is Byzantium, and Melkor, I believe he's going to be the Venetians, and I think he's also doing a time-lapse of the whole thing as well, so you can see me probably fail in extra fast time, which would be fun for you. And of course all these YouTubers' links will be down in the descriptions. If you want to see their campaign from their perspective, then go ahead and click on their links and subscribe. So before we get properly started, I'm going to introduce you to a new and probably recurring section of this campaign, which is called Excuses Time. Yes, these are my excuses as to why I may not perform at my best. This is what I would call like an insurance policy in case I do badly, and it's a vital part of this campaign to maintain my reputation as a reputable Total War YouTuber. So what are my excuses? Well, number one, I've never played a hot seat campaign before. It's different playing against real people rather than the AI. Second of all, I've never played Medieval 2 Crusades before. I had no clue about this DLC expansion at all. In fact, I didn't even know where some of the settlements were and all that. And my third excuse, which isn't a good one and is my own fault, but I was probably drunk or hungover when I recorded half of these anyway. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So, enough rambling, enough excuses. You know what? I might win this campaign, so maybe I'm being overly negative, who knows. But let's actually get into the video and see how well I did. So here is Antioch's starting position, and we have quite a few settlements. We have Crusades, Antioch, Aleppo, Edessa, Diakabir, Malatya. I probably said all of those wrong, but you just have to take that as you go with my channel, that my pronunciation isn't exactly great. But we have a pretty decent territory. So what is my general plan for this campaign? Well, as you may have noticed in the beginning section, you can see the Seljuks at either side of us, which could cause a bit of trouble if they decide to converge on us and surround us. That wouldn't exactly be ideal. So my idea was we will just completely focus on all the Seljuk Turks to the east of us. That makes sense, and then hope to God that Byzantium sorts out the Turks to the west of us, and then we'll kind of be fine. We're allies with the Kingdom of Jerusalem below us to the south, so they shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we can really focus on all our force to the east. That's kind of my general plan. Now, you can't attack any other faction on the first turn, so really my first target has got to be the rebel settlements. So you can see we have a few armies up here at Aleppo. We have a decent amount of force, some Hospitalier sergeants, some mounted sergeants, some units I've never actually seen before. And we're actually going to move a few units out of Aleppo to start off with and bring them all over to join William Longsword. The 34-year-old looks pretty decent, he looks alright. It's interesting actually with the Principality of Antioch. I don't know much of the real history of it, but a lot of the characters seem to speak with a French accent, which I thought was quite interesting. So anyway, we have this army of William Longsword outside of Aleppo, and he is going to move over to Aleppo and bring some of these lads along with him, the Edessan squires and what have you, and he is going to start moving probably towards the Seljuk territory in the east, which is what I said I wanted to do right from the beginning. Go and be aggressive against the Seljuks, and that would probably make a good amount of sense. So he's going to start moving towards Edessa, that kind of territory, and that's hopefully all going to be good. This geezer's moving up north, up east, just to see where he's, where he's at. But everything should be fine in that regard. We just need to pour the troops. My focus at the beginning, though, is going to be taking Homs, because it's a nice rebel settlement right next to Crusades, if I'm saying that right. So for the first couple of turns, that's got to be a decent starting point. Free settlement. I want to get there before Jerusalem does, and the Seljuks as well. So, and also just gaining territory at the beginning, it's going to help my confidence and it's going to help our economy and all that as well. Now, there's some rebel territory to the sort of northeast of us, and that's where Regent Reynold is going towards, because, you know, again, it would be nice to pick up some of the rebel territory a bit north of us before anyone else does. You know, that kind of makes sense. So now we need to have an army that's going to go towards Homs. Homs got a decent amount of cavalry, it's got a decent amount of missile troops. You know, it doesn't look hugely amazing, but a pretty decent sized garrison. You know, the medieval 2 garrisons for the rebel settlements are significantly larger, so we are going to need a little bit of force to go and take that, because it's, you know, definitely isn't under garrisoned. So we have the man from Bordeaux. I don't know how to say that name. That's a tough name to say. It's something G of Bordeaux. We'll just call him that. And he's going to put Homs under siege in a second, but he's going to get a few more troops over from Crac de Chevalier, some Hospitalier Sergeant, and what have you. You can see there's a decent amount of mercenaries as well. We're going to pick up some Crusader Sergeants, it seems, and a couple of other units as well, Frankish Axemen or whatever it was. And his retinue expands, of course it does. And now we have enough troops to go and besiege Homs, so that's pretty good. So turn 2, and we have a candidate for adoption, Geoffrey de Coligny. Smart, generally loyal, noble in battle, and dutifully religious. Seems pretty solid. 23-year-old. We'll pick him up, and you can see, if you just saw that quickly, that there were actually some Seljuks to the north of us in our territory already. So the Seljuks are obviously going to be aggressive as well. Captain Marmed or something like that. Which is historical gameplay. He is around with a pretty decent sized army. Now I'm hoping he's going to go towards the Byzantines and just leave us alone. That would be nice, but you know, we'll kind of see about that. And of course we have these guys. Regiment Reynold is moving up north to take the rebel settlements, so he's going to start moving along past Malatya, and William Longsword is going to move towards just the general Seljuk region. I don't exactly know where all their territory is, but I know it's in that sort of general direction, so those guys are just going to move along like so. So we're basically going to ignore that Seljuk army at the beginning, but hopefully it just moves off towards Byzantium or whatever, Constantinople, and leaves us alone. That would be beautiful if he did that. So anyway, I do believe it's time to take Homs, so we are already fighting a battle early on. Mr. Bordeaux is taking on Captain Kayet of 1,075 men. You can see some desert cavalry, Turkish archers, town militia, nothing, you know, particularly amazing. We have some pretty solid infantry and a bit of cavalry as well, so, you know, I feel like we have a pretty good chance. I'm actually going to move a few more swordsmen over, which I trained in the previous turn, just because, you know, we might as well have as many men as possible, but we're in a good position to take Homs, I think. And now the name of their captain has changed, which is interesting. It's now Captain Kaikubad, but either way, we're going to fight them. Hopefully we are able to take Homs. And here we are outside the rebel settlement. We're going to start the deployment pretty much straight away. And yeah, it looks like a, you know, pretty decent place. Nothing amazing. It's not a huge fortress or anything like that, so should be relatively easy to take. You can see the balance of power very much in our favour, which is good. The rebels have no reinforcements or anything like that. I'm just going to move the lads back a little bit because, you know, I like to see what I'm doing a bit. So we have a ram and 2 siege towers, so we're just going to basically bring them all up to the wall at the same time. I think that's pretty good. And they're just going to charge the walls, charge the city, and then hopefully we can bring all the cavalry in and that will all be fine. So we're bringing up these lads just behind them. So start the battle. We're going to move the infantry towards the walls, and you can probably see there are a few lads on the walls. I mean, obviously there's going to be missile troops. There's always archers on the walls that are going to cause a bit of damage. As long as none of our siege equipment catches fire, I'm pretty much happy with that, but we're just going to storm the walls straight away, try and get those gates open. It's all good, but that's a lot of firepower on the siege towers, which is not exactly ideal. And we're going to bring the Hospitalier Sergeants in behind the siege towers nice and quickly, so that as soon as the siege towers are at the walls, we can get all the troops pouring in straight away. And there you go, disaster strikes already. One of the siege towers catches fire. So, pretty unlucky start, to be honest. It could have gone a bit better, but we're just going to abandon that straight away. We'll have to go all on one siege tower. So, unfortunately, we can't really surround the lads, but it should still be alright. We should have overwhelming force, I hope. Right, so the lads finally get out of the siege tower, and now I'm telling the Hospitalier Sergeants, go join them, lads. Go get up on the walls, get those Turkish archers. Not amazing in the melee, Turkish archers, so that's quite hard to say, you know, Turkish archers. Anyway, they're not amazing in the melee, so we're just going to get up on the walls, start striking them down actually in the melee, and they should be alright. But they've got a lot of arrow fire that's causing trouble. I need to move some of my troops back, actually, so they're out of the range, because they're doing a pretty solid job of getting a few kills, but my lads are pretty hardy. You know, I feel like the armies in Medieval 2 Crusades are quite hardy comparatively to the base game, because I think it's set later on, so, you know, it kind of makes sense. And yeah, they're not doing a huge amount of damage, but you can see the Desert Cavalry, very interestingly, marches outside of the city without, you know, much provocation. And, well, we've got Hospitalia Sergeants, which are, you know, proper spearmen. I believe they're spearmen units. So, interesting decision for the Desert Cavalry, but we've got to take full advantage of it and just completely strike them. This is a perfect opportunity to get them out in the field and fight them where it suits us, rather than fighting lads on the walls. So, they've charged my men. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to get a few lads, few cavalry lads sort of flanking them as well, and you can see there's a lot of missile fire going along, but that's fine. We just need to strike against this cavalry. And bear in mind, they've got the doors open, which is pretty stupid of them. We did not have control of the gates. They've just opened the gates up and said, look lads, we're here, come kill us. And that's exactly what we're hoping to do here. Just completely swarm them. And Desert Cavalry is only light cavalry as well, so it's not even that hardy. You know, really it's more meant for flanking in big open battles or chasing down enemies at the end of a one battle. This is neither of those situations. Instead, they've just charged headfirst into infantry and much superior heavy cavalry, and to our benefit. And you can see they're already shaken there, so that's pretty good for us, in fact. Now, I do want one of the Hospitalia Sergeants to go up on the walls, fight those Turkish archers. Those Desert Cavalry, as you can imagine, routed pretty quickly. And look, the gates are open, so we can now just waltz in. I mean, pretty stupid of them. Pretty stupid of the AI to go and do that, but hey, I'm not complaining. You know, it's just free kills. It's a free entrance into the city. It works fine for me. Now, the problem with this way of fighting is we do have to funnel a little bit through a tight entranceway on one gate, which isn't ideal. But you can see our infantry has done a pretty good job. They've taken out the majority of the Turkish archers. You can see that because there's not a lot of missile fire left, so that's good for us. And we are coming through the city. We need to get our, you know, spearmen, our infantry actually in there to fight Desert Cavalry, but they're just constantly shaken. So really, they're not going to do a huge amount. That's absolutely fine. And none of our units are broken yet. We've already broken units of their cavalry and their Turkish archers up on the walls as well. So not too bad of a start indeed. I'm pretty happy with that. And there you go, they are routing back to the plaza. Pretty stupid of them. We have lost 12% of our men, they've lost 24% of their men. So they've had like double the amount of percentage points lost. Still a bit of missile fire, but they're going to be getting a few friendly fire casualties if they're doing that. So pretty stupid for them. That's a little bit, you know, reckless of the Turkish archers. That's really, honestly, really difficult to say. Try saying Turkish archers really quickly. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Not ideal when you're doing YouTube. But anyway, we are marching through, just getting through the Turkomans. I mean, Turkomans are units that are, you know, missile cavalry. They're meant to be fighting in the open field. They're not meant to be charging in headfirst to strong Antioch infantry and heavy cavalry. So, you know, AI at its worst here. Now, the Turkish archers are coming out from the walls. They've had enough of firing down on their own men. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to come out and strike them like we struck the Desert Cavalry when they came out of the walls, or came out of the, came out of the gateway. And, you know, it's not going to end well for them. Again, you know, they've not used their troops to the advantage. They've wasted their troops, and they're abandoning the walls, which is again stupid of them, because the walls is where they have the one advantage. When you're fighting on walls, it greatly benefits the defender, and now they've come back from, you know, they've come down from their area of high defensive, you know, advantage, and they're fighting our men on the ground where it suits us a lot better. So now that we've got superior infantry in a superior position, I mean, they just don't stand a chance, and you can see that they're going to be routing pretty quickly. In fact, you can see a few flashing rebel flags as we go, so they just don't stand a chance. Missile troops against heavy infantry, it's a no-brainer, and you can see the balance of power pretty much in our favour at this point, so there you go, unlucky. So we've now lost 14% of their men. They've lost 55% of their men. So really, the second half of this battle, we've taken basically no losses. I mean, we've really not taken anything. And the rest on the plaza, again, it's more light cavalry and infantry. I think the problem with this rebel army is that they had a lot of missile troops and light troops, which is good for the open field, not really good if you're trying to defend a city, especially when the opposition has a lot of heavy melee troops, which is what we had. So yeah, their army didn't really benefit them, and they're just sort of crumbling now, which is good for us. The rebels do have a unit of spear militia. You can see they're fighting all our lads. That's why it's taking a little bit of time actually for them to go down, but I've got it on 2x speed. We're just grinding them down slowly, but we're barely taking any losses. We have a good amount of defense, which is good to see. And as you can see, I'm getting my archers into the city. It's actually very important having archers, and you can see there they broke. It's very important having archers in the city. Guys, the gates are open. You can just go. Why are you going through the siege tower? Archers are a bit stupid, but it is important to have archers during a city siege because it's a good way of getting the cavalry and the infantry off the plaza. It's a good way of baiting them off the plaza. If you're firing at them, they'll react, they'll come off the plaza, and they'll do something stupid like charge face first into spearmen, and guess what? That's exactly what they're doing here. The Turkomans, which are not troops that would normally be doing that, are doing stupid things because they're being fired upon. That is the kind of, sort of deal. Saying that, the archers aren't really doing an amazing job. Instead of coming through the open gate, they have decided to, come up through the broken siege tower. Well flipping done. But what we're going to do, similar to what we've done quite often in the past, is have a layer of infantry just near the plaza, another layer of infantry, and then they're going to be backed up by the archers. The archers will fire, and the cavalry will just run straight into the infantry. Game over for the rebels. Because if you engage them on the plaza, then they have infinite morale, they're going to last for a lot longer and get a lot more kills against your lads. So as you can see, I've got like 3 or 4 layers of actually properly good infantry. The archers are coming in behind them. I mean, the cavalry is just desperate to die. Anyway, I mean, they really just keep charging in, charging back, and so on and so forth. But either way, it doesn't really matter. We don't even need to bait them, but the archers are indeed firing on them now. And hopefully, all the rebels will start coming forward into our infantry. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. You can see we've engaged the spear militia, and they're going to be coming forward, and they just don't stand a chance. I mean, these are proper solid units of spearmen, and yeah, they're just going to have a bad time of it, and their morale's going to be bad. You can see they're shaken. It's not particularly a good day for the rebels. We've done a pretty good job here. I'm pretty happy with how we've taken Homs. It's a good start to the campaign. We've taken our first settlement, and with not too many losses. I mean, we haven't technically quite taken it yet. So the final units are coming off the plaza, and they are basically walking into spears to get slaughtered. Well, life's tough, lads. Life's tough, but you shouldn't have been rebels in the first place. You should just agree to become part of the big Antioch Empire. There you go. And there we go. Looks like their captain has gone down, and we've just completely swarmed the plaza, so that wasn't too difficult at all. Clear victory, 1,075 men lost to 342. I will take that any day of the week. We got, triple the amount of kills they did, so I'm pretty happy. And yeah, as I say, good start to the campaign. We take Homs, we've expanded probably faster than anyone else has, which is nice to see. And it just, gives us a bit more economy and confidence and all that to go forward. So Homs is indeed ours. Mr. Bordeaux has taken that. And I think we'll probably sack the settlement if I'm sensible. Yes, that is indeed what I did. Good. And in trait increase for Mr. Bordeaux, he gets some dread because of that. I like dread more than chivalry personally, but it's a matter of opinion actually. Is that a second Seljuk army I saw up there? Oh, I didn't quite see that. But anyway, we are moving further along, and this is actually turn 3 now, by the way. You can see in the bottom right corner. So we have moved ahead, and I believe there is another Seljuk army, but we'll have a look at that in a second. And, basically what we're doing, we're moving more and more lads in this direction to join William Longsword near Diakabir and move towards the Seljuks. I mean, it's a little bit of an old journey, especially as our best settlements are actually on the western side of the empire. So, it takes a bit of time. But he is just basically moving as far as he can into technically not Seljuk territory, but towards Seljuk territory, that's for sure. Now, I build a watchtower. Maybe I should have built a fort, and that would be a bit more sensible. But there we go. And actually, you can see big Seljuk army over there. So Attila, I think that's his name, which is, not a great indicator. And he's got a full stack Seljuk army. So, might want to avoid him. I'm just going about my business setting watchtowers on the edge of the empire. I'm definitely not going towards you. And again, moving more troops along Reginald and Reginald's way, and he's moving up towards the rebel settlements. So that's all good. Wise, and this baldy, Mr. Bordeaux, who is indeed bald, is going to be joining them. And again, another decent sized army going towards the Seljuks. That's our complete focus. I'm very glad that we are allied with the people of Jerusalem, because that just makes it a lot better. And you can see actually Seljuk territory pretty near to us, so it was a good job. So, the Seljuk army that was near Antioch earlier is actually moving towards Adana. That's fine, I don't have a huge interest in Adana, so that's right. I was probably going to move towards there, but if the Seljuks want to go take it, that's fine. I mean, they'll be weakened in the process by taking Adana, and then we can just probably hop along and take it off them, so not too bad at all. And actually, turn 4, you can see that big army over in Adana just moved off. What is more concerning is what you're about to see now. Out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, 2 huge Seljuk armies come over. They besiege Edessa and Diyarbakir. I wasn't very happy when I saw this, and as you can see, or as you noticed before, I'd moved all the troops out of Edessa and Diyarbakir to move in that direction towards the Seljuks, and the big old army that was moving in that direction, which you just saw, that I said, oh, you know, I should have built a fort, but I built a watchtower instead. Yeah, that army's gone. That army is gone. I mean, you'll have to watch Historical Gameplay's channel to see what happened to them, but he obviously fought them with the big full stack army of Attila, and he won. So I was not particularly happy about that. Now this guy, he was going to be moving east. My directions are not very good. He was going to be moving east, but he's now probably going to be having to move north to try and defend Edessa and Diyarbakir. So, or Diyarbakir, whatever his flipping name is. Now this guy, he was going to go north. He's now going to have to go south. So this completely put a massive spanner in the works, because we were going to be taking rebel territory to the north, we were going to be taking Seljuk territory to the east. Instead, we're going to have to completely pile back and try and desperately defend Edessa and a place beginning with D that I've just said wrong. So yeah, the huge army I had, the big old army that was going to be the sort of forefront against the Seljuks, gone. So, you know, credit to Historical Gameplay. He obviously fought a very good battle, a very convincing battle, won, and then really did get some reinforcements going towards my settlements, but really not ideal. And now, of course, William's Longsword, who I wanted to go towards Adana, he can't do that anymore. Really, he is realistically going to have to go towards the Seljuks, and all of a sudden, when I planned to be aggressive and going on the offensive, we're now going to have to be on the defensive and lose troops trying to reclaim or defend Edessa and Diyarbakir. But yeah, I mean, well flipping done, Seljuks, you've done a good job, but really put a span in my works. Also, just love that this guy is called Guy. The general in Antioch is called Guy. I didn't rename him. I don't know if you can even rename generals. He's just called Guy, and I just love that. So he's automatically my favourite general in the whole world now, by the way. So yeah, Reginald Reynold, I think he's probably going to have to move. We're going to move this spy up here anyway, because I don't even know what the rebel territory is up here. And you can see it's Theodosiopolis or something. I don't even know where that flipping is, but regrettably, instead of going towards Theodosiopolis, we're going to have to go down, and we're going to try and hit the Seljuks around the back at Diyarbakir, but it's going to take 2 or 3 turns, probably even more, like 4 or 5 realistically. So there's a very good chance the Seljuks could take Edessa and Diyarbakir before we can even get reinforcements over. And you can see I'm piling everyone over towards them, but they still might take them, which will be a huge hit in our economy. And well, turn 5 goes, and you can see I lost both of them. Yes, so very bad start to the campaign. We are now reduced to, what, 5 settlements, I think? These 4 and the one up north. Edessa and Diyarbakir are gone. They are completely gone. You can see there's another big Seljuk army to the north of Antioch. That would be disastrous if Antioch got taken off of us. So the Seljuks have done a pretty damn good job. And you can see there's more Seljuks to the east of Homs as well. Not huge armies, but there you go. And I think Mr. Historical Gameplay actually killed more of my armies that were going to go towards Edessa and Diyarbakir, because, well, he's just obviously pretty decent at the game, because I think they're just gone. That's the frustrating thing about Hotseat. I mean, it's inevitable, it's, you know, it's unavoidable, but it's the frustrating thing when you log on and, oh, I have 2 or 3 full stack armies and they're just gone, and there was nothing I could do about it, because that's just how it is. But, you know, credit, he outmaneuver, out-tactically'd me. That's not a word, but that's probably why I'm losing this campaign, because I'm stupid and say words like that. And yeah, he's done a pretty solid job so far. So we really need to work out how we're going to recover. I'm hoping the Seljuks took a lot of losses in taking Edessa and Diyarbakir. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll kind of see. So how do I respond? Well, in typical Lugatoric style, I don't do anything sensible. I do something completely curveball, out of the blue, kind of stupid. And basically, what I think, I've got a bit frustrated at this point. And I was thinking, well, I've only fought one battle so far, and I've won it. But the AI, when playing as me, has lost several battles against the Seljuks. I want to fight the Seljuks and win. So, you can see there's this big Seljuk army to the north of Antioch. What I'm going to do is, well, you can see here, I'm going to get old Guy. I love that. He's just such a brilliant name. Anyway, we're going to get a ton of mercenaries. We're going to pick up as many men as we can. Bear in mind, he's killed all the armies that I've sent towards Diakbir and all that, and Edessa. He's killed all those armies, so I'm going to have to rely on mercenaries mostly, because I have no choice. And we're going to attack that big Seljuk army out in the field. Now, it's going to be mostly cavalry, because that's all I can physically get. You can see I clicked on the Edessan squires. They couldn't get over in time. And I was frustrated, so I thought, screw it, we're just going to get all the cavalry, because what the Seljuks have done, I've looked at some of their armies, it's like a ton of Turkopoles and all of that, so they've been like cheesing us with the missile cavalry. I thought, well, I'll try and do the same against them, and see if we can get a win. I love Guy, budding bureaucrat, aloof, a bit odd. I mean, how can you not be a bit odd and be called Guy? Like, and then we have Jeffrey de Coligny, I think he was the adopted kid. He looks pretty decent. So we're going to fight the Seljuks in the open field. Mustafa and his big old army. The balance of power is not in our favour, but I'm a madman. I don't know what I was really thinking. I don't know what I really expected. I just wanted a really, really convincing victory against those guys. I wanted to say, look, historical gameplay, listen, alright? I can win big battles as well, and you're going to log on and see your army is completely destroyed. We'll see if that happens. It might happen. Who knows? I'm alright at this game. I'm nothing amazing. So we're going to wait until it's a little bit less foggy. But we are playing the Turks, of course. And we're going to start the battle. I've got a ton of cavalry. Not actually that much missile cavalry. It's a bit stupid of me. I was like, yeah, we're going to cheese them with missile cavalry. And I bring like 1 unit of Turkopoles. But, whatever. And what we're going to do is we're just going to try and completely outflank them. Which is, again, a little bit stupid considering we have less men to try and outflank a big old army of the Seljuks. But, whatever. We're going to try, basically, what I'm thinking is just get some men out on the right, get some men out on the left, get some men around the front and some around the back, and just completely swarm the Seljuks. They won't have a clue what's happened to them. But you can see the balance of power is very much not in our favour. Now, the Turkish archers, which we've discussed earlier, have marched a little bit ahead of the cavalry. So I think good. It's a good opportunity to get some hits early on some infantry. They're overexposed. We can get some really damn good hits on them. So immediately, I get the Knights of Antioch, my general, to charge in to them straight away. Now, we have some lads over here, Turkish javelinmen, missile troops, okay? They're not going to do much against big, bald men of Bordeaux and their big cavalrymen. So, again, I go and I fight them, and that's, kind of the plan. Try and get the overexposed infantry and missile units that aren't good at fighting in the melee, get them engaged in the melee, and they should be screwed. And immediately, 1 unit of Turkish archers go down, 2, 3. So bang, 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 we've got 3 units routed already. Good start. But now the rest of the army is engaged with us. Now that's only light infantry, but still don't particularly want to fight them. So I'm going to try and sort of avoid them with my Crusader Knights. Try and get out of the way. Again, I don't want to be fighting Spearmen. I just highlighted the unit of Spearmen there. Spear Militia. Don't want to be fighting them because I've basically got a whole cavalry army. What we need to do to deal with the Spearmen is to get the archers on units like that and to get, so the archers coming forward, as you can see, get units like the Turkopoles fighting from a distance. But the actual melee cavalry needs to get out of there quickly because they're going to die pretty quickly. Just chase the Turkish archers or something like that. So we're getting more and more into the javelinmen, which is good to see. I'm sorry if this battle is very slightly laggy, by the way. I have no idea why this specific battle was laggy. If you watch my normal Medieval 2 campaign, it doesn't seem to have a problem, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And we have the Allen Light Cavalry as well. I mean, you've got to love the name Allen Light Cavalry. That's just brilliant. That's brilliant. And I love the fact they've called their cavalry Allen. It's just beautiful. We've got Guy fighting Allen. I mean, it doesn't get more English than this, even though we're in the middle of the Middle East, but whatever. So we're trying to surround them over there on the other flank, and then over here we have, what do we have here? We have some Turks, Ghazis or whatever they're called. Not going particularly well on this side. It went better on the other side when we dealt with the Turkish archers, but I don't want to be fighting Spear Militia. Bad idea, just get the archers firing on the Spear Militia, get the the melee cavalry out of there. Crusader Knights need to get out there quickly. Now these guys, I'm trying desperately to surround the Ghazis and the Alannite cavalry of the Seljuk Turks. That's got to be my plan. Got to get as many of them routing, but it just didn't really work. We didn't really get around them, and what happened was we were just wedged up against them. Now we did get two units, in fact, of Seljuk Turks routing, which is good. You can see the archers are coming back for some more. They've obviously not had enough. So it's not been a terrible start to the battle. We've got a few units routing, and I don't believe any of our units have routed, although some of them do look a little bit battered, to be fair. But the spearmen have kind of caught up to us, which is not great exactly. Mr. Bordeaux, his men are going down quick, and we just ended up in a slugging match. You can see particularly over there where I'm highlighting now. Instead of surrounding them like the genius tactical person that I thought I was, it just didn't end up like that. It just ended up like a slugging match, which was a bit of a shame, actually, a bit of a shame. But I am still trying to flank them. We have got a couple of units routed. It's not terrible. It's not a complete disaster. You know, in fact, we did actually eventually win on this flank, and now we've got a ton of light infantry and Turkish archers, so we should just storm against those guys, get as many kills as we can. That's kind of my plan. This side wasn't too bad. It was more the side that we're now looking at that didn't go as well. You know, the archers are kind of screwed. The general's bodyguard, you know, one of them, guy is down to 16 men. Old Baldy over there has got 25 men, so, you know, they've kind of lost quite a few, and we've taken quite a few losses now. The fact that they just, the sheer numbers of them, and the fact that they actually had some infantry and we didn't, is why they maybe do have the upper hand here, and you can see the band's power very much in their favour. What I'm going to try and do, run down as many of the missile troops as we can, just get as many kills as we can, because why not? And we've got a few men routing, you know, it's not too bad at all. General's bodyguard can just go and take out these guys, and yeah, we're storming in this region. Life is good in this region. You know, we're killing as many of them as possible. They're routing. The archers aren't going to do anything against these decent cavalry units. They're just going to do nothing. So that's good to see. So on the other side, things aren't looking as good because you can see there's a lot of green here, and I highlighted the whole map, and only five cavalry turned up. There's only 5 cavalry in the whole of this region. There's a few men over here. They're the archers, so they're more likely to do a bit better because they can skirmish. But not great, lads, not great. The majority of our remaining force, which really isn't a lot at this point, is fighting the archers. And as soon as they've dealt with them, which they did deal with them, they killed all of them, they now have to turn around and face still a lot more Turks. And actually, still the spear militia around. Still the Turkish heavy cavalry are still around. So, really at this point, there's not a lot I can do. There's just simply too many. I think if the numbers have been pretty much even, maybe just even a little bit more in my favour, I could have won this, but it was just, we were just never going to be able to take out the spear militia, particularly because we just lacked the missiles. So I'm just like, at this point, try and get as many kills as we can. If there's the odd unit of javelin men that are overexposed, get them down, but really, we're not going to be able to get the spearmen down realistically. If we charge into the spearmen, we're just going to be wasting men. But we'll get the Turkish javelin men down, sure. You know, they shouldn't be on the field. Get out of here, alright? Yeah, broken. They're broken pretty much immediately. They won't do anything. But you can see General's bodyguard over there. I'm running. I'm trying to get Guy out of here, okay? If Guy dies, well, that would just be the worst thing that's ever happened. But then he engages with us. I'm like, okay, if you want to engage with us, maybe we can get a Seljuk general down. Just surround him. Don't worry about anything else. We're going to get this general down. Guy is going to kill their general, whatever his flipping name is. Mustafa, I think his name was. So we're going to completely surround this guy, hopefully, and get him down. I would say it's a pretty decent consolation prize if we manage to kill the Seljuk general, Mustafa. Now, don't know why Baldy is running off. You know, when I asked him to kill the general, he's being a bit of a coward. Don't know why that unit's running off, but you know what, just screw off, whatever. We need to kill their general. If we don't have any general losses, and they have more, and they have a general loss, I'll consider that as a little bit of a consolation. You know, it won't be much, but it'll be a little bit of consolation. But our army is pretty much collapsed now. It's just this one general that's overexposed, and there you go. There's the beautiful cutscene. The Seljuk general is down. I think his name is Mustafa. Am I right? We won't see for a second. Now, there's still some Turkish archers. I want to get those guys down. I thought I got rid of them. Apparently, I hadn't. They came back. We'll get this light infantry down as well. But I just know that there's no way we're going to get the spearmen down. And the Turkmens and whatever they've got. And it's not going to happen. So we'll focus on getting the weak units down, getting as many kills as we can. And, well, you know, we've lost yet 3/4 of our army. They've lost half our army. I think the figures should be relatively even, actually, by the end of this battle. So, look, I mean, it wasn't the most sensible thing, what I did here. But it's good content, I suppose. And, you know, it was just... I was frustrated. And I made an impulsive decision. I really just wanted historical gameplay to open up his game and think, oh, you know, a taste of his own medicine. Oh, half my armies have gone. You know, it's terrible. That's what I had to deal with. Okay, it's what I had to deal with. I had to wake up knowing that half my armies had disappeared overnight. Do you know how that feels? It doesn't feel good. So anyway, I wanted to inflict that same pain upon him. Unfortunately, I couldn't because he's better at the game than I am. And yeah, I just try and get the odd unit of Turkish horse archers down, but I'm a bit worried about old Baldy and Guy. There's a little bit of an issue here. So I would kind of like to get them out pretty soon before they die. We're still fighting though, the odd lads. There's still one group causing a little bit of havoc, but then, look, that's quite a lot of infantry. There's lads coming over to the right. We need to get the hell out of there. Get out of there, okay? Don't die. There's no point, you know, throwing away 2 of our generals, and you can actually see Guy's bodyguard down to 5 men. I'm like, you need to get out of here, man. You need to get out of here quickly. And the same goes for you, Mr. Bordeaux. Get out. There's no way we're going to win. There's just too many men, and that's always a problem if there's too many men. So, just get these guys out. Yeah, we've basically been ground down to nothing. As long as I don't kill a general, I'm not too upset. So we're going to withdraw, run, you know, cut our losses. We have indeed lost this battle. We have indeed lost the whole army for basically no reason. I mean, this army of Mustafa was just minding its own business out in the desert, and I thought, I'm going to try and kill this guy. Well, I did kill him, so that's alright. But the good news is that Guy and Mr. Bordeaux did indeed get out. So, they survived, and I don't care if I lose 1,000,000 men, as long as Guy survives, I'm happy. So average defeat, Guy lost 642 men, Mustafa lost 1,220, we actually, you know, we killed / captured double the amount of men he did, so I don't see this as a huge defeat. I mean, the game says it was an average defeat, and I kind of agree. It is a sort of Pyrrhic victory for the Seljuks, but still... considering they have all those armies and settlements elsewhere, we probably lost a greater proportion of our strength in this battle than they did. So, kind of stupid. Will you pay the demanded ransom? I can't even remember if we did, but it's so few men that it really doesn't matter. In fact, I think I just declined. Like, screw it. You lost us the battle, you stupid mercenaries. You can die now. I won't be paying money for you back. And now, well, I mean, it's an army without a general, so that's good. But... really, realistically, I did not inflict that much damage, and there's no way we're going to be taking a Dana, that's for sure. We need to now lick our wounds and try and retrain, and that's going to be a bit horrible, so there we go. You can see Crown Prince at Salir, I think that's his name. Yeah, he's out there as well, so, I mean, yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. So we're now on to turn 6, and the Seljuks have attacked Malatya now. Yes. So, I think, was it the army of... No, they didn't kill Reginald Reynolds. You can see he's just below Theodosopoulos, or whatever his flipping name is. I don't think historical gameplay killed him. But what he has done is not only taken Raqqa. I don't think he had that at the beginning. He might have. He's got Raqqa. But also, yeah, Malatya is under siege. So, now a third settlement's under siege. We started off this campaign with what? Like a solid 6-7 settlements. We're down to 4, basically, because there's no one near Malatya. A big old army of archers and all sorts. And there's nothing there because I moved all these guys out to deal with the Turks. And then historical gameplay killed them all anyway. So, you know, not ideal. Regiment Guillot, as, you know, I just sallied forth quickly to see exactly what they've got. Pretty decent army. I mean, it's not the best. It's a bit battered, probably from killing about 50 of my armies in the past. Now, I did get a small army towards Theodosiopolis because I thought, well, we might as well try and take a rebel settlement anyway. You know, that would be cool if we can do that. So we're going to put that under siege, and maybe we'll take that at some point. Maybe we won't. But yeah, there you go. Prince Reynold. He's not regent anymore. I don't actually know what a regent is, but it doesn't matter. He's now going to try and sneak around the back and try and take Diyarbakir. I think that's what I'm planning to do. No, it isn't. Okay, no, it isn't. So I'll tell you my new plan now. If historical gameplay is watching, stop watching because this is spoilers for you. And there you go. That's the end of the video. What I'm going to show you is my plan for the future. What is my plan for dealing with the Turks? Well, my plan is I'm going to try and sneakily take a few settlements up north that are rebel. A few rebel settlements up in the north. That would be fun if I could do that. And then I'm going to try and sort of rebuild the empire from up here. We'll still have Antioch and Crack des Chevaliers and all that. But it's sort of like an insurance policy that if he does manage to just completely storm the Middle East, I have a few settlements up in Armenia that I can just hide out and recreate a new empire. That's my kind of plan. But shh, don't tell him, otherwise he'll come and kill me like he's killed everyone flipping else. Anyway, yeah, that is the first 6 turns of my Hotseat campaign. It's been interesting. It's been very interesting. But yeah, would not recommend following what I did because it didn't end very well. But there's still plenty of time to go. Who knows? I might still win this. Very unlikely though. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you around if I survive that long.